Hello, I'm Philip Stoten for EMS Now. I'm here at Productronica 2009 and I'm on the Indium booth with Ross Berntson. Ross, thanks very much for joining me. Wanted to talk a little bit about what you're doing here and particularly what you're doing that's relevant to the European market, because it's a different market here than the others.
Absolutely. Well, one of the big things that we're doing here is we're trying to make sure that we're addressing the power industry and also the obviously still the advanced SMT industry that's here. And so within the power industry, there's many needs for high-end thermal interface materials, for IGBTs, for power amplifiers, whatever the application is where there's that power density is very high. There's nothing like solder for taking that power out. And we have the right forms of solder, the right approaches to be able to help the customers solve their thermal challenges.
Okay. And I noticed you've got the automotive shot here. The automotive industry in Munich particularly, but throughout Germany is doing pretty well. Is that a sector that you have product that's particularly pertinent to? Absolutely.
Again, there are also thermal issues there, but there's a lot of specialty soldering applications in those areas, and I think Indium's known for having virtually every solder solution you can imagine, whether it's a preform, whether it's a wire, whether it's a solder paste, and dispensable paste. Our dispense paste is on some of the dispense companies' exhibits here at the show, and so that brings those solutions to those customers. Of course, also though with our SMT materials, no clean and lead-free is coming into automotive in a big way, and we have the right materials for those solutions too, whether it's a QFN voiding issue, or it's a pin testing issue, or it's a wetting issue. We can work with those companies to customize something for them.
Okay, and you've been flying this flag of engineer to engineer, this kind of engineer to engineer debate, which I've seen coming through on video, coming through on blogs and online debate. How does that realize itself at a trade show?
Well, for me, the opportunity here is there's many engineers walking around looking for total solutions. Oftentimes they have a new assembly and they're trying to say, what's the most cost-effective way to attack this? Whether it's a piece of equipment, a new material, or what we think and the way we look at it, and what engineer to engineer means to me is the ability for our engineers to engage with them in their process and integrate everything. So think about what is the solder form, think about what is the thermal form, think about what is the right application and process equipment. I just came from a meeting where we did that for a customer, and it's really exciting to be able to bring that whole integration together, and that can only happen when our engineers are talking to the customer's engineers.
Yeah, that's kind of, is that face-to-face kind of. And are you finding that at a trade show like this there are enough engineers here and it's not executive management?
Well, this is an interesting show because this is a true show.
Yeah.
We do a lot of shows where it's really a technical seminar with a show attached to it. And so there are opportunities here for that. I think those technical shows pull in a lot of those people. But we get that opportunity because we do attract our engineers to the show because they know they're here, and a lot of the authors of our papers are going to be here. We have about 40 white papers we're kind of highlighting here that are on our booth, that are here for them to interact with, and that helps to bring the engineers here. Yeah. But you're right, there is a lot of executive management, but that creates another opportunity.
Yeah.
And what I'm surprised at is the top executives in our industry aren't aloof of the details.
No.
They care about the details. Yeah. And so many of them, although they don't have the time to go in depth on every technical issue, they do care about them and they are aware of them.
Picture. Yeah. And that's certainly more so here in Germany than anywhere else, because most of the executives here were engineers.
Exactly.
So there's a strong engineering.
Yeah, and that's the same with our culture. You know, our president is an engineer, I'm an engineer, virtually everyone on management team at Indium is an engineer.
Yeah. And in terms of new products, what are the new products or new offerings at the trade show that have played particularly well?
The biggest one probably is our Indium 8.9, which is our leading halogen-free, no-clean solution that can address the QFN voiding in one iteration. It can address pin and paste or pin and paste in one iteration with some of our preform solutions. It can address the pin testing issues that are out there. It can address the graping or the miniaturization, the print issues with 0201s and 01005s, and warpage that can happen with the coreless board. So there's so many things out there. And so what we believe is the ability to bring one of our engineers in touch with the customer portfolio of issues, challenges they have, and try to bring that right solution to them. That's really what's playing best here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a very consultative relationship there, but you have some really nice graphical ways of showing that and helping them choose which of those alloys they need, which I was impressed with. Last question I wanted to ask you is really about the market. Firstly, the European market. Are you happier now than you were when you arrived here Tuesday morning?
Absolutely. I think what I'm constantly impressed with when I walk around and talk to customers is how much innovation is still going on here. Obviously, that's not a big surprise, but also there's a real market here. And you know, again, naturally, am from America, so I have a little bit of that perspective. But when I come here, the affinity for the design and the high technology that's coming out of here. Some of it's still made in Asia, but the technology centers are here.
Yeah, and the NPIs here.
And it's always exciting. I always learn something new, get exposed to something new. Yesterday I learned a lot about the battery industry, for example. It's a very exciting industry for Europe.
Yeah.
And there's lots of opportunity for us there.
Yeah, and one of the guys I spoke to earlier today said he was delayed by fog coming into Munich airport, and he actually thought fog was his view of looking at the market moving forward. Lack of visibility. Yeah. Is that what you're seeing in the global marketplace?
Right now there's a lot of uncertainty. Again, I've been just talking to a component manufacturer where their component demand has just fallen way off right now. And I think we're seeing that throughout the semiconductor and packaging industry. And I think that's going to roll through. But I think I'm no longer in panic mode or anything like that about next year. I think it's going to be a slowdown for a few months. I think it'll move on at a kind of a slower but not crisis pace. Yeah.
Yeah, and my sense is a lot of the businesses in the industry would be more than happy with a flat year. Another year like this would be okay before some growth.
Exactly.
Well, Ross, thanks very much for your time. Fantastic to talk to you, and enjoy the rest of the show.
I sure will. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time.